Hello everybody, welcome to the review. Oh wow, the review show. Off to a rocky start here, but basically what I've been trying to do here, or what I'm going to try to do here on the channel, just go over the races, what I saw, what I can think of. I'm going to pull up the results here on Racer X and kind of just go over my thoughts of the races and everything like that. Just kind of a review, and then we'll have like a preview show every week. I think Friday would be the target day for that to come out. Now I'm not 100% sure that would be the day, but yeah, every Tuesday you guys will get like a review show, and hopefully every Friday you guys get that that preview. So we'll really talk about like what could happen, who the people are, like, you know what I'm saying. Now we are here riding on the Anaheim 2 track. Now it is a little different because this is based off of the track map, and this was made for MX Bikes, the video game. You guys can find it on the other channel linked in the description, and all the information you guys need about this game down there. That's my IanMX channel, and this is Moto In Depth. So let's hop right into the I guess we'll start with the 450s. The overall winner, or your overall winner, was Cooper Webb on the Star Racing Yamaha team. Now that definitely comes as a surprise when you look at his results. He didn't win a single race on the night, and yeah, he said it feels weird. And that's the thing about these Triple Crowns, is it any less I guess, is gratifying the word? Yeah, I think so, right? I don't know. I literally made fun of someone yesterday for using this word, but now it's just kind of blank in my brain. But it is what it is. You know, you win some, you lose some. Gratifying. Is it as gratifying to win a Triple Crown without a main event win? Now, I don't know, but we'd have to ask Cooper Webb, and unfortunately I don't have the facilities for that. Hopefully maybe one day we can get you know, Benny Bloss on this. That'd be fun too. But you guys get what I'm saying here, right? Cooper Webb put together consistency, and it was enough to win. I think he went like, what, 225 or something? Yeah, 225, and that's a winning main event, or I guess that's a winning Triple Crown in today's Supercross. In the Premier class, it's gotten very stacked, and you're looking at second with a 571. That is 13 total points, if my math is correct there, and that is just nuts. Normally it's like you need to win at least 2, and then you have a good chance, unless you make some critical mistakes. And in the 250s it's a different story, obviously. But Jason Anderson, Aaron Plessinger, yeah, Anderson penalized at the end of that. That's kind of weird, but it's what it is. I'm watching the Gypsy Tale podcast. I got about 30 minutes left of it with Jason Anderson, and man, I love that dude. I have since probably 2020 or 2019. I know he won his championship in 2018, but I was never really the biggest fan of him till later, after he had won the championship, after he was kind of sitting, and one day I think he said like he doesn't care or something, he's just here to have fun, like he really doesn't care about results. And that was classic old Jason. And now on that Kawasaki, I knew he was going to be good, and called it quite correctly in 2021, I believe it was, that season, when he went, I think, 9 wins even, I think, where he was messing with Eli a little bit and had their little battles, and that was a super fun year to watch, except it was only just like those 2 guys. Speaking of Eli Tomac, he gets a solid second and a much needed rebound race, where it was a lot of questions after a good result in the mud. It was Anaheim 1 is so bad, can he come to Anaheim 2 on a dry racetrack and absolutely wax these dudes, or look the same? And I think Tomac overall was one of the faster guys, obviously, you know, doing what he did. You look at lap times alone, and like I think it was the second one or whatever one he won. Okay, so the third one, yeah, he was putting up great ones. Second moto, he did really well too. But I think Jason overall was like the fastest, most consistently fast guy. Well, guys like Jet, Eli, and Chase were all fast at times, but Chase definitely, that we'll get to him, but that one surprised me a little bit. But either way, Jason also, by the way, did a really good job. Shout out to him in 4th. Should have been in 5th, or should have been in 3rd, not 5th. And I really suck at riding right now. What's happening? I'm just psyched for Eli Tomac. Obviously, he couldn't beat his teammate, but whatever. A second place is a second place. A moto win is a moto win, especially the last one of the night when the track's at its roughest. Eli comes out on top. No surprise there. I was waiting for a rebound ride, and he definitely did it. He was super good. And yeah, he just really found his flow, was really clicking laps off in that last one, led quite a bit of it, if I remembering correctly. Now, yeah, you know, things get a little spotty over a couple days, so I do apologize. Probably should like rewatch these races on like Sunday or something. I don't know. We gotta figure out something here. But either way, Tomac had a great rebound ride, like I mentioned. He gets a lot of confidence in his corner now, and now there is kind of that question of who is like the top 5 even at this point, with how well Tomac's riding, AP, Jason, and obviously both Jet and Chase. Like, that is something to watch for sure, and we'll have to see how it, like, I guess, evolves, how this championship battle evolves over the next few races, and hopefully they are all dry, and we'd really look for someone to really try to break away or show the best dominance or whatever. And I can still see that not being the case. I could see new winners every week for the next 3-4 weeks even. So it is going to be a very weird cycle as we move forward. We're going to have some rounds. We're going east. It's going to be a different type of track they're going to be racing on, and it might suit other people's you know, riding style. And I think it was Eli or AP that said they can't wait to go east, as they typically are better there. If I'm remembering correctly, it is AP, and we'll start talking about him because he is 4th in this one. Or no, he's third, but I mean actually 4th, but penalized or penalties to Jason Anderson puts him 3rd. My words are all over the place right now. Aaron Plessinger, the Cowboy, your points leader heading into Detroit. Very interesting situation for him, and how mentally this might be a little bit of a dupe. If he gets out, pulls whole shot, I don't think that's best case scenario for Aaron Plessinger. I think it has to be like a third place starter inside the top 5, and he just needs to be better and want it more than all these guys, which is very hard at this point in time right now, where the championship is so up in the air. But for AP to come out and pull a whole shot, I don't think he survives the main event. You know, sticking first the whole time, first to last lap, he's got it, he's dominant. I don't think that that's the case. He'd be too far up in that head. It's going to be so mentally challenging to be out there after what happened last year, how often it's brought up and how often it is brought to AP's attention specifically. He even brings it up, so it's gonna be hard not to think about it if he just goes out, pulls whole shot. Now in a heat, if he does it, I think it is a little bit different for the main, but I don't think AP's really been a heat guy this year, so we'll have to see what his situation is heading into the main event. But if all lines up correctly, I would like to see a top 3 start and not a whole shot for Aaron Plessinger, as it really could help him have something in front of him to focus on, instead of sticking up in his own head thinking about things that can happen after what happened last year to him. If you guys don't know, very hard incident not to know, when, you know, a guy literally, he just has it in the bag. He has it in the bag, and his ankle gets, or foot got ripped off the peg, going a little bit deeper into a rut, gets tossed off the bike, throws away the lead and the win. And I think it was Chase Sexton that ended up victorious that night. So just a tough situation for AP, obviously. You know, you'd love for him to rebound, get another win, especially at Detroit, where it would mean a lot after what happened to him last year. And that would be a fun little hypothetical to play. AP wins this, and yes, he is a title contender. Yes, he ends up being your points leader, and that lead stretches no matter what if he wins. So that all is amazing, and we love AP, and he's a fan favorite. But as unsure as I am right now about him being a title threat, it is gonna get a little foggy coming up if he doesn't put up the results. If he starts, you know, consistent top 5, it's like, okay, he has the consistency to win the championship, but I don't think he's getting that surge of points that whoever's winning is going to have. I think Cooper Webb is one of those guys to watch as well, where he's consistent but can also pull out the win at sometimes. I think AP needs to be one of those guys. He needs to stay in the top 4 to 5, and 3rd would obviously, podium positions would obviously be huge, especially in a tight championship like this, where, you know, every once in a while you'd have to win, though. It's got to be one of those things. You can't just get, you know, 4th or 5th every round and expect to win the championship. Now, crazier things have happened, But when you really look at the way that these championships are won, and the way Cooper Webb has even done it, and the way that AP would probably need to do it, where it plays out best scenario for him, is to come out and win maybe 4 races this year, to actually be considered like a title guy up there with like Jet, Chase, and Eli, Cooper Webb, like to be one of those. Ken Roxon's pretty far down in points already. Mookie showed good speed, but I don't think he's there, especially because of his points, but even speed level. So AP, lot kind of to look at here in the next 2 to 3 rounds, I'd say, where if it's all dry races, good, and if it's a mutter, even better for him. But if it's all dry, I'd need him to at least podium, and a win would be crazy for AP and really stamp his place into this championship fight. Now, El Hombre is the guy we're going to be talking about here. Penalized for an off-track excursion, got around the whoops, I believe, or like fell or got bucked off the track. I don't remember the exact situation, but got off the track and gained an advantage. That's pretty much what it was. Saw it right as it happened, and I was curious if it was going to go under review. I kind of face palmed it for a second when Jason just absolutely ripped up on the side of the track. I was like, oh god, he's definitely gaining time, and that's not the proper. You can't do that. Well, I'll just put it that way. That's not the rules. Like, they're getting Jason Anderson. They're pretty nitty picky with him, but I think this one is reasonable, you know, compared to some others. Like the fine for the helmet grab, that's stupid. AMA, I mean, that is, you know, think about it, it is AMA. It's not Feld, where they're putting in advertisements. They're saying that that's going to be a promotion point, is like our riders hate each other. Like it's AMA saying, hey dude, don't rip Jet Lawrence's 20-year-old head around in that helmet. It's not very nice of you to do, but Jet did start it. But Jason definitely went a little over top with compared to Jet with the helmet tugging. So I don't know. I don't think it's a reasonable fine, that one, but this little penalty here, I think that is kind of reasonable. Did have a little bit of an advantage after pulling up, but all in all, great night for Jason Anderson. Super excited. I mentioned it. I think he was consistently the fastest guy. I think he absolutely, yeah, Moto 2 absolutely dusted fools. I don't see how like Jason Anderson can't even be talked as one of the championship guys. I know I just left him out because I was saying AP, Jet, Coop, Chase, Eli, and I left Anderson out. But I mean, that's if AP sticks in. I think that there's going to have to be like someone to fall out, and maybe not, you know, maybe it kind of rotates through those top 6. And Kenny, I can see getting a win at some point this season as well, by the way. So I don't know. A lot of it is in question. It's still a whirlpool. It's still all opinions and guessing and predictions, but I don't really like the idea of Jason Anderson being an underdog, right? Like, this guy should not be an underdog in the first place, but he's going to show you he's not an underdog. He is a very good rider. He's riding very loose right now. He looks very good overall on that bike, on the track, speed-wise, comfortability-wise. Like, this guy is putting it all together, and he's the only one to, like, truly pull away from these dudes. And was it Chase? Yeah, Chase went out and actually won the first one, got second in the last one, but that 11th really hurt him, and that was due to a crash, by the way. He was top, I'd like to say top 8, somewhere in that range, and that could have helped him out significantly heading into that third moto. And Chase ended up crashing out of that one, and that helps the field a lot because he was looking to be the guy to beat after qualifying. Fastest lap, just kind of put the pieces together, looked really good, really smooth, and was putting it together for sure. I guess my final point here is Jason deserves a little bit more credit. He looked like the most consistently fast, best dude out there, in my opinion. Just when it comes to passing that eye test, Jason passed the eye test 1,000 times over again. Every time they put the camera on him, he is uncorking these lines. He is doing all of it, and it's so consistent, and he's doing it so fast. He's scrubbing everything. He is actually putting in the time. You can tell he's been grinding. You can tell he's been, like, I guess, just enjoying the bike, honestly, enjoying the ride. Not no Neil guy, but he is enjoying what he's doing right now, and it shows. I mean, he is putting He put on a clinic, in my opinion, in Moto 2. That is as like good as we've seen this year since Jet Lawrence in A1, who didn't even pull that big of a lead, and Jason Anderson did it in less time. And now maybe Jet Lawrence, obviously things come into question there. Was he trying his hard? Like, we don't know. Jet's kind of a question mark at this point, and I didn't like how we got piled on. I didn't see that at the post, or with the post on you know, Jet from Jason Anderson. Jason kind of posted out his thing on Jet, and they had everybody, like a lot of people were piling on in the comments, like Ken Roxon, like ha ha ha, like laughing it up. I don't know what Austin Forkner said, but apparently it was kind of an L. But either way, 100%, we're looking at a very good group of riders. There's no doubting that, but at the end of the day, Jet might be pretty easily the favorite to be the best of them all, other than Eli Tomac. Maybe he doesn't get those standards, but I expect him to be at least Eli Tomac legacy level if all goes right, if Jet gets back on the mental track he needs to be on right now. I think I could do a whole 30-minute video on Jet Lawrence right now, just because of how much like of a whirlwind it is around the Jet Lawrence name right now. It's just such varied opinions, such different I guess different, I don't even know what to say here. I guess just a different situation than we've seen before. Jet is under a microscope right now. A lot of people look at him, and like I said, it kind of sucked to see the piling on as the in the comment section, everything like that. And I don't think that there is really a very liked thing about Jet Lawrence right now within his competitors. I don't think that they're a huge fan of him. But Anderson did kind of come out and say, like, this kid is expected to be the best all time, the best rider of all time. This kid has very heavy weights just sat on his shoulders, and he doesn't want to wait to get those released. He wants to get off to a start. He wants to be the guy to be. He came off a perfect season. He's been doing nothing but winning for the last 4 years. Comes into here, and now he's getting humbled. Now it's kind of awakening him to the game of Supercross. Once he has a full field of motocross riders next year, I don't know if he goes undefeated again, but if he does, this guy's the best motocross rider of all time already. But if he struggles in Supercross throughout his career, we're gonna see problems. But I don't think that's the case. Once it clicks for Jet, in a year or two, he's gonna be the guy. I don't think if Chase can figure it out, maybe every here and there, he could be the guy. And if Jet has an injury, Chase can be there. He can be the Ryan Dungey of the situation, where he just stays consistent, doesn't need to win everything. Smarter guy, takes it easy, has his fun, and picks his spots. So I think that Chase is really good in that aspect right now and what he's doing. And no, the Ryan Dungey comp doesn't just come straight from Red Bull KTM. I think that's generally what he's doing after seeing what last year was like for him, just sticking a little bit better. But that pass led up to Jet Lawrence was absolutely absurd. Stupid by Chase Sexton. It really makes me curious about what was flying through his mind there. Jet was obviously going faster, quite a bit faster actually, and ended up going down. I think he actually did finish behind. So yeah, Jet in that last moto finished 4th after having, I believe it was 2nd, and Chase let him by. That would put Chase down in 3rd, putting AP behind him, and Jet Lawrence would move up to 2nd place and then crashes. So his mental right now, Jet's mental, like, when he just needs to regroup. He needs to come out. He needs to win a heat race. Like, that's just really ultimately what Jet needs. He just needs to just dust these guys by 12 seconds in a heat race or something, without anybody doing anything to him, without any helping hands, without anything. Jet needs to just come out here and whack some dudes to be the guy. Take some people to Gapplebee's, and you all feel better. That's just kind of the way it goes. And the thing Jet needs, in my opinion, the most right now is even just a good qualifying session that leads to a good heat race. That can set some dangerous main event situations up, where Jet Lawrence has basically all the tools to just go out there and dominate, including that mental confidence that maybe he's been lacking the last couple of weeks. In my mind, I don't think Jet's been great since the mud. The whole thing where, yeah, you should have canceled the race, blah 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 blah, that's not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. And the way that Jet went about it, and that just shows me there is a negative mindset in his mind that is, touchable. because we don't know the guys under the helmet. We know their persona they put on for the media, whatever. And Jet is the happiest go lucky guy ever, funny dude, doesn't care, doesn't watch film. Like, this guy is incredibly smart. He cares so much, and he watches his opponents. He learns so fast. Jet is seriously I don't know. He's a one-of-a-kind prodigy. I don't think we'll ever see anything like this ever again, this situation here, where someone comes from nothing, from another country, grinds their whole life to get here, ends up being an absolute phenom, wins everything for 4 years, moves up to the 450s by the age of 20, and just really gets humbled for the first year. And then we'll see, like, there's the question mark, when does he get it on track? If he does it all, and no doubt in my mind he'll get it. Like, I don't think that he should be counted out in any means necessary for the rest of his career. I don't think that this lowers his career expectation. I think it's just a slower start to Supercross than he'd like, and that is what's really hindering him mentally, along with those mud races and the mindset he had coming into those. That kind of bothered me a little bit. Kenny going 3.610, he's really... Like, yeah, he has the speed. Everyone knows this guy can win at any given race, any given moment. Listen, Ken Roczen was the most talented dudes we've ever seen on a dirt bike ever. And that is not even in question. It shouldn't even be, like, is that real? Like, did he just say that? If you're saying that, you're probably 12 years old, all right? You don't know Ken Roczen. And this guy, I don't doubt him ever. I don't think that you ever can count Kenny out. But I think I'm counting him out for the championship. You can't have rides like this and still have the championship in mind. I think for him right now is just take it race by race again. I think the start of this program, the start of the season, the start of the Supercross was for Ken Roczen to really win or put even a top 3 race in the top 2 or 3 rounds, and that really just wasn't the case for Kenny. Too many mistakes, too many errors that really shouldn't be happening for such a veteran. And yes, you can point to the 2015 technology and say he has to kickstart his bike when he makes a mistake, so that really sucks for him. That's a huge part of, like, losing time. But he's had some amazing rides without the results, and that is what I expect to see happen when he's not really riding or doesn't really get in the best situation right away. If he doesn't hold shot, in my opinion, I don't think he's really a guy that I hate to say this, but if he doesn't hold shot, if he even starts third, I don't think he's the type of guy that can work his way up through even the top 2 people, especially if those 2 people are the championship guys. I don't think he could work through Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb. I don't think he could work through Jason Anderson and Jet Lawrence even. Like, I don't think he can do that. I'm sorry, Kenny. I love you, dude. One of the best we've ever seen on a dirt bike, like, just generally. Like, you're just a talent on a dirt bike. That is what it is. Like, one word, when you think of Ken Roczen, it's talent. But what we've seen this year from him, sure, he can get a whole shot, he can pull away, have those 5 seconds. But say, here, I'll give you guys a hypothetical. Eli Tomac whole shots, Cooper Webb gets second, and then coming out a whole shot, Ken Roczen's third with, we'll say Ferrandis and Jet, then Chase. Now, I expect Jet and Chase to make quick work of Ferrandis, get on the tail of Ken Roczen, pressuring him forwards. Now, he does one of 2 things. He either makes that mistake trying to keep up with the young guns, or he straight up gets past, loses that edge to him or whatever, tries to latch onto the back of him. Once he realizes he can't, that is a huge mental dent. That you're like, okay, I can't stay in touch with the winners. I can't, like, keep up with it. That is what kills you. Now, when Kenny has the whole shot, he has the chance to set the pace. He is the guy that is known for his quick, fast laps, quick first fast laps, that not untouchable, but he sets the tone, man. I don't know why I'm writing so bad, by the way, in the game, the video game, but it's happening. All right, keep it out of your minds. I'm trying to focus on what I'm saying here, not really the video game. Anywho, Ken Roczen is so good, always will be, and until he retires, until the day he retires, I expect him to be a top 10 guy, and that's not even that bad in this class. I mean, we're seeing guys like Christian Craig consistently outside of the top 10. It's so sad. I feel so bad for Christian Craig, man. We'll see him on Firepower next year, ripping some dudes up, though. We'll see how the LCQs go for him next year. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I think I've lost it for Christian Craig. High expectations heading into this year, thinking he could put everything together after hearing what happened to him last year at A1. Big injury hindered his whole season. So I was like, okay, sure, that can just be an excuse. Sure, that can just be a stunt to say, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I had a reason. I wasn't the guy last year, and it could just be like him making a reason for himself and really saying, I didn't get my fair shot last year, let's go for it this year. And one, he hasn't really had a fair shot, and two, you need to be a top 10 guy, you need to figure a way to get back up there, because a finish 17, 12, 13 on the night in a Triple Crown where you have 3 opportunities, that's not what we like to see from Christian Craig. I think we'll hit on the last 2 guys here. Justin Cooper, who got 8th overall, finishing just on top of Dylan Ferrandis. He had very good, the last 2 for him were a lot better after starting 10th, so gets that, I think it was a bad start or something, but that's your fastest qualifier, beating guys like Chase Sexton. Malcolm Stewart was on one in qualifying, by the way, as well, and Jet Lawrence, all the fast guys, right? Like, Justin Cooper literally came out there. Supercross, this is 450. This is big dog stuff. This is what we love to see from Justin Cooper. He goes out and finishes, I think, like 4/10 in front of everybody. The only guy in the 57s all night, or I guess all qualifying long. And that really set the tone for his night, and really, like, is this the breakout ride, whatever. And in my opinion, yes, it was. This gives him such confidence that I can't even imagine how psyched Cooper is on this ride. This has got to be eye-opening for him. It's obviously something he's going to look forward to in future races. He's going to try to be the qualifying guy now. I think he's really feeling like he's a 450 guy now. I think that he knows he can do it. We saw he's capable. He was making moves, and maybe he's not to that winning level yet, but once we see some of the older guys come out, I think Justin Cooper really is one of the next guys. Like, we're seeing Chase, Jet. He's not that level, but he's the next level. I think when Jorge comes in after he gets a couple years over here in America, it's almost confirmed, by the way, that he's going to be here. He loves it too much. I mean, he sucks at keeping the cat in the bag. I'll tell you that. Old George, or Jorge Prado. I like calling him George. It's fun. Racist or not, I mean, like, that sounded terrible, but people might say that's racist. I don't think it is. I think it's just a fun thing to say. George Prado is the guy right now. I love watching him, but as much as I love Justin Cooper, I think Jorge is also a talking point here today, and I don't think I'm going to spend too much more time here on the 450s because we're already quite deep in. And yeah, I guess Jorge or George, nice to see you for the last time this year. Go rip it up in MXGP, go win another chip, come over here, big bud, and yeah, hopefully you get taken care of. It's very talented lad, very, very good rider in my opinion, and picked up on Supercross quicker than I've ever seen anyone from Europe do. Now, given I've seen a lot less than a lot of people have in this industry, I think I've seen Tom Vial, Ken Roxon, and Jorge Prado, and there's probably a few others out there, but Dylan Ferrandis, that too. So, like, there are guys. Jet in Hunter, so, oh, maybe not, actually. Hold up. Jorge can be the next guy, you know? Anywho, that'll be the 450s. We'll move to the 2s. Now, we're going to have to get through these kind of quick because I got other stuff to do, and I took a lot of time on the 450s there. But anyways, Levi Kitchen comes out, goes 1, 2, 3, and that is the perfect night for Levi. 2-time A2 Triple Crown winner, back-to-back seasons. He's done it. Very good representation for him, I guess. I guess that bids well for Triple Crowns for him in the future and whatnot. Now, I think this is the only one he has this year as he's racing on the West Coast. We're going to see 2 for the East Coast from what I remember hearing in the press conference from Dan Hubbard. And 1, 2, 3 was the way to go. I think that's what Levi has to do all season long, is stay in those top 3 spots. And while RJ Hampshire may win more actually this year than Levi, I think we'll see way less consistent results from RJ. I think he'll have a 7th every here and there. I think he'll have his moments where it's like RJ's not on. Levi, get your butt going, get that win, maximize the points in this situation. And even when RJ is on and you're not catching RJ, stay in second, stay in third, minimize the points drop. I think that's how a guy like Levi would win a championship over a guy like RJ Hampshire. Poor Nate Thrasher's coming on a little too late and really got screwed over in that second moto. He had a chance at the overall tonight, that night he had an overall chance at the overall that in A2. So poor guy, obviously kind of ruled out of this championship early, along with Joe Shimoda, who really came on late in late Moto 3, I believe. He had a really good ride after riding okay in Moto 2. He rode really well. Moto 1, still trying to find his footing. I don't like this Joe Shimoda trend. I don't. Where he gets better as the season goes on. He needs to start as good as he ends, and I think the only way he does that is if he stays down on a 250 and he stays on Honda for another year, and he stays grinding, he stays keeping that bike improving, or he keeps improving the bike as the year goes on, and he comes out next year. That is when I'll see Joe Shimoda at his best. I don't think we're going to see him contend for the motocross chip. Sorry, Joe, but all honesty, you don't do enough in the beginning. He needs to be a bit more physical. He needs to be a bit more ready, in my opinion. Sometimes it just looks like he's okay with an 8th, which is kind of meh. Makes those mistakes that aren't always his fault, but a lot of it can do with, you can fix a few things. But he's always put himself in the bad spot in the beginning of these championships, and it really digs a hole for him. But at the end, he gets good results, and then we're talking about him for the next championship. Coming out of motocross, he had a big momentum swing. He was starting to really win and come into his own, and we're like, yes, this is Joe. And finally, he'll start off Supercross well. That didn't go accordingly, did it? He started off kind of rough, obviously, a bit further down in the championship than you'd like, and Joe just really hasn't put it together here. Disappointing. I'd like to see him get a little bit more experience under his belt this year on the Honda, on the 250, against these guys, to the point where he's getting a better racecraft every race. I want to see him learn. I want to see Joe get better, and I want to see him next year Supercross on a 250 on the Honda, HRC Honda. I want to see him succeed. I want to. Joe's great guy. Talked to him once or twice. It's just overall super nice. So Joe, I'm rooting for you, bud, but it gets tough in the beginning of championships to root for you, and late championships, no doubt in my mind, you're one of the best guys on a 250, and that really may not come to light this year. Supercross, motocross, I think will be a better start than you're used to, or than he's used to, starting a little bit further down than what he did last year even. So I don't know. We'll see mixed results from him all season long, but I think next year is Joe's year. As crazy as that sounds, as hindsight as that is, as far forward as I'm looking at, I think next year is when Joe's really going to have to come out and do it. And I think he could put up a top 3 championship campaign here in motocross. But I just don't know how much of an adjustment that is to the bike. I don't know how much testing he'll do. I don't know how well he'll start his motocross championship this year. And he could prove me totally wrong, and I'd be just fine with that. Jordan Smith, this is a hit to his championship, going down to 5th place. Well, RJ is number 2 and Levi's number 1. Those are his 2 championship. Or I guess those are the 3 championship guys: Jordan Smith, Levi, and RJ. And Jordan Smith just was worse than those guys, and that stinks. Over the course of the main events, I don't think he finished over them once in any of the main events. He was 4th, 8th, and 4th in okay, so maybe in the 3rd moto when RJ made his mistake, he was 7th. So Levi Kitchen was better than Jordan Smith in every single one, and I just don't see how this is a good thing for Jordan Smith. Obviously, you can't be like, oh, but he did ride good that one time. I don't think that was really the case for him. I think he just needs to take this break, get some testing done, get back to those East Coast rounds where he is a little bit better, in my opinion. And we'll see how he comes out swinging, see what the break offers him, and see what the championship guys look like after the break. Do they figure it out more than Jordan? Like, does RJ and Levi put in the extra time over Jordan Smith and what he's been up to, how he's been training? Garrett Marchbanks really had a tough second moto that really screwed him over. I think it was 16 and 5, and that's still good for 9th, but a dent in his championship as well. 9th place is not where you want to be. But when you overall, like, you look at it, Marchbanks, I think we kind of knew. He's not all talk, but he has upside on the dry tracks, but he's not the best guy on the dry tracks, and it showed. And the sixths and fifths were good, but there's definitely times where Garrett, I think with more time and you know, racecraft going on, I'm going to be curious to see how he ends out the season. But I want to see him on the 450. Just overall, I want to see him on a 450, no matter the case scenario next year. I think eligibility or not in the 250 class, redemption or not in the 250 class, I want to see him on a 450. Just kind of what I would like from Garrett Marchbanks, and really I think that's just like best case scenario for him as well. I don't really care about, you know, what the team might think, or I know Garrett, I think even may have even asked to go back down to the 250s. I don't remember. I don't know. I would just want to see him on the 450s. Juju and Ryder DiFrancesco, as different as they are, they're kind of in the same boat. Now, Ryder's been riding for a year longer than Juju. Juju's a 7-time world champion jet skier, by the way. Love that. And he is out of Lake Havasu, Arizona. Or that says that area. I think his hometown's listed somewhere in California. I think that might be, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. But on the broadcast, it's different from Racer X. So sue me. I really don't know. But Julian Beaumer, 7th. He didn't have it in the first moto, and then 5th and 6th in the second 2 motos. After what he showed at the dry A1, I was super excited to see Juju. I was so ready for him to come out here, so ready to whip some dudes up and maybe show some speed, but didn't happen. 2 whoop sections tonight probably really held him back, in my opinion. I think that's what he's struggling with the most right now. But other than that, this guy's a talent. This guy's just a good rider. And along on the other side of that, the other rider, Ryder DiFrancesco, he's good. He showed glimpses. In my opinion, he's been a guy I can see getting a podium at some point this season and beating a top guy straight up if he has the right track conditions, if he has the right track layout, bike setup's feeling good, you're feeling good that day. I think Ryder D can really take it to one of these guys. I think he's an underrated guy that's still trying to figure out the gas and try to just figure out what he's doing. Honestly, I think that Ryder is gonna be another guy that you're like, okay, next year. Like, I think you're really looking at that sort of guy instead of win now as you're on a new bike, win now as you are still, and I just think this might be his rookie year in Supercross anyway. So you're looking at him and you may think like, oh, he should be better than Juju, but in my opinion, they're kind of on the same boat, and it'll be kind of, you know, I'm kind of curious to see how each of them progresses as the season goes on. I personally think Ryder D finishes higher in this championship than Julian Beaumer, but we'll have to see at the end, won't we? It's not going to be a given. And obviously, in hindsight, after a bad ride from Juju or whatever in one of the mud rounds, I think a DNF or something, I think Ryder D may have had a bad one. I don't even remember, but I don't know how the championship points stand currently between those two, but I think Ryder D finishes better than Juju as at the end of this championship. But that'll be everything. Thank you for watching. Come back for Thursday's preview show for the first 250 East round, and that'll be all for me. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like, go down, subscribe, go watch the past content on the channel, and that'll be all for me once again. See you guys next time. Deuces.